But yeah, let's get into these Eastern Western Conference Finals that wrapped up almost a little unceremoniously as both teams strolled to victory. Oklahoma City Thunder in their game five, and then the Indiana Pacers in game six. So I do want to start with the matchup for the NBA Finals, and then we'll get to the Knicks and T Wolves. So this finals has kind of been hated on by fans, by a large majority of people, saying this is like the nightmare for NBA in terms of ratings. I know that's like the main discourse around this finals, but if you don't like this finals, I don't know what to tell you because this is an incredible matchup between two teams. You got the best defense with the Oklahoma City Thunder and the best offense with the Indiana Pacers meeting at a head here in this matchup. You got the MVP going up against the most well-rounded team probably in this whole playoff bracket. So I want to get your thoughts on just from an overview of the matchup. How do you feel about it?
So the ratings thing doesn't bother me at all, especially since the NBA just signed that big contract with
All
NBC.
right.
So it's like I mean, it's like nothing's gonna. And I don't think it's gonna be like it might. I don't think it's gonna be the least viewed finals ever. I think because it's an intriguing matchup, like you said. I think like the Nuggets Heat from a couple of years ago. That one was kind of weird
Yeah,
because the Heat really weren't supposed to be there, and the Nuggets were good, but when your top, I mean, it's just how it is. When your top players are a European prospect, and a European guy, and then the other guys are definitely way below. Like there's no like Jamal Murray's not an all star. He's a good player, not an all
yeah,
star. It's just the ratings aren't going to be fantastic for that. But oh yeah, it's gonna be a fantastic series. I don't get people already claiming that the Thunder are going to win easily 4-5 because well, a number of reasons. For one, two teams they have the exact same playoff record. They're both 12-4. Obviously, they have 12. Both have 12 wins, but they both only lost four times. Pacers are both teams are deep, especially the Thunder, but the Pacers are as well. Number one defense versus number one offense at postseason rankings. The Pacers average 117.4 points per game. Thunder average 117.1. So just right next to each other. And one thing that I've not heard anybody say, and it's kind of surprising, and I was looking at it, like I had to double check it just to make sure I did the counting right, and because I just heard no one say this, is that while how dominant the Thunder have been at home this postseason, they have not been special on the road at all. They're 4-3. They went one great. They got a great win last series against the Timberwolves, Game 4. That was their only good game for viewing standpoint. That series it was close, but it was a good gritty win for the Thunder. But they got blown out in that Game 3. They went 1-2 against Denver, and then in the Grizzlies series, if you recall, they were losing by 29, and then John Morant got hurt, and then
yeah,
John Morant went down, and then the next game. So what? If John Morant didn't get hurt, they would be 4-4 on the road this postseason, and that's even me being nice to them, still giving them Game 4, which they barely won against the John Morantless Grizzlies team. So, I mean, they're an absolute juggernaut at home this postseason. That arena in Oklahoma City is fantastic. It's one of the best environments in professional sports, I think, from what I've seen. I love the t-shirt policy they have, where everyone's forced to wear them. Like I heard, like they like put people on the jumbotron and like shame them until they put on their shirts to make sure everyone wears their blue or white shirt, whatever it is. But but yeah, I don't get people claiming it's going to be Thunder 4, Thunder 5, and nothing. No Pacers don't have a chance because even though Vegas is kind of surprising, like they're not giving the Pacers much of a chance. But Vegas has been wrong on the Pacers this entire postseason, so yeah, it's going to be a fascinating series. The only negative thing I have going into it is I could see I could see there being several blowouts both ways. And we've kind of seen that. I mean, like last series with Oklahoma City, we saw them get blown out in
yeah.
Minnesota. because I could see this being a whole series of adjustments where the Thunder might blow out the Pacers one game, but Rick Carlisle is a veteran coach who's won a final, so he's one of the best coaches, I believe, this in the postseason at making adjustments. We saw that in the Knicks series, and then I could see the Thunder, and the Thunder are a young team, so I could see them like getting punched early and not recovering for one game, and then they make an adjustment, and then there could be a few blowouts. But I mean, I would be shocked if it doesn't go 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, I think this is a great series. You got two teams who were built, not bought, in some ways. They really built both of these teams from the ground up through the draft, through key trades for role players. It's not like they just put Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen together on a team. This is not like a situation like that, and it's a win for the little guys. Two of the smallest markets in the NBA, and I think it was one of the good things that have come out of the Adam Silver era of this NBA era is that everyone has a shot. And I like the matchup between SGA and Tyrese Halliburton. These are two of the top guys, in the league right now. They've obviously led their teams this far, and they've had incredible performances, not just round one, but even into the Eastern Conference Finals. It's been incredible performance after incredible performance, and I think the thing the depth is going to be a huge deciding factor in this series. Got to pay attention to injuries. Luckily, both teams got their series over with fairly quickly, and they'll have some good a good few rest days to get ready for the series. The first game will be, I believe, Thursday, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and both these teams have basically have Paul George to thank for this, haven't they?
Yeah, I was going to point out I mean, obviously they built a lot of their players through the draft, but through trades as well. Thunder specifically because they got SGA trading Paul George to the Clippers, but and a whole bunch of draft picks. But I mean, the Pacers ended up with Oladipo and Sabonis in that trade, and they ultimately sent Sabonis to Sacramento, and that's how they got Tyrese Halliburton. So yeah, who would have ever thought? So Miles Turner was drafted by the Pacers in 2014 during the Paul George era. Who would have ever thought that Miles Turner would be in an NBA Finals in a Pacers uniform before Paul George ever made ever made an NBA Finals with anybody? So yeah, but another thing I like that's interesting about this series is I mean we've talked about the Thunder's amazing defense and they're gonna. I mean, Halliburton hasn't seen guards this size yet. Um, he in round two against the Cavs, he went against like Darius Garland, who's kind of a smaller guard, and Donovan Mitchell. This last series, they did end up putting like Bridges on Halliburton, but anyone who was on Brunson, anytime Brunson was on somebody, they just took advantage of it because what's one thing Brunson hasn't really developed too well in his career as an NBA player, unfortunately for him, is his defense. But yeah, it's going to be fascinating how the Pacers adjust to that because it's going to be tougher. But the Pacers defense, like no one's talking this year about how bad the Pacers defense is.
Yeah.
That was a huge storyline last year, and rightfully so, because they were just Pacers' keys to victory was just outscoring you, uh, not really caring about how much you put up as long as they outscore you. But I mean, goodness, you saw what freaking Andrew Nimhard was doing against Brunson in Game 6. Like it was just
Yeah.
harassing him. When we saw what Neesmith was doing earlier in the series,
That,
I like what Stan Van Gundy said about how he's like one of the greatest players he's ever seen that can fight through screens.
yeah.
And you just watch you just watch it. It's completely accurate. Like it's so hard to screen him. He can so easily fight through it without fouling. That's the key, without fouling and
Yeah.
staying with him. So yeah, I mean SGA is probably gonna have his hands full too, dealing with these guys guarding him. So yeah, it's so many interesting basketball storylines, like not outside storylines, but just strictly basketball storylines to look forward to in this series.
Yeah, it's not a series where you got LeBron versus Steph or something like that we've had in the past. This is very much so on the court storylines that we're going to be seeing, and it's going to be really cool to see. I don't know if they will, if the Pacers will put Neesmith on SGA. Do you think that could be a
So
strategy to start off?
you could tell after Neesmith's ankle injury that he wasn't fully 100% in those last couple games. That's why they ultimately went to Nimhard in Game 6, and that paid off big time. But he's going to have several days of rest. I would assume they're going to start with Neesmith just because he's a bigger body. He's bigger than Nimhard, and he could probably stick with SGA better. I mean, Brunson and SGA are pretty similar types of players. I mean, could score a lot, are good at drawing fouls, and
Yeah,
it's not we're not saying Neesmith wasn't in foul trouble a lot because he was a lot in the series, but he was just continuously aggressive and it just eventually just kept wearing Brunson down. Where at the end of the game, when he's like Neesmith knows guys like that know that they're not going to hold these guys to 10 points. Like he knows you can just see defenders like him know that they're going to they respect the opponent. Like they know they're going to score some, but your goal is to wear them down enough so when it comes to crunch time, they can't deliver.
exactly. I
And
mean,
yeah, go ahead.
that's what Rick Carlisle's strategy has been this whole playoff. I mean, go back to the Cleveland Cavaliers series. They let Donovan Mitchell put up 40, and it didn't matter. They still blew him out. So they let the main guy do his thing and force the action offensively, and they basically cover everyone else and let the main guy go to work. And one guy can't beat you.
No, now they still have Jalen Williams though, so it'll be interesting to see what the Pacers do against him. Um, Miles Turner is going to have to. Mitchell Robinson was an absolute force in this past series, grabbing offensive
Yes.
rebounds. I don't. I mean, Hartenstein's a really good player. He gave the Pacers trouble last year in that series, and he's
Yeah.
really underrated, big guy. But it'll be that matchup will also be interesting to see if Turner can be a better rebounder this series. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. This could be. I'm a Pacers fan, so obviously this is. But strict. I mean, I've waited for this for a while, but strictly basketball related. I mean, this should be really entertaining. And anyone claiming it's going to be a horrible series that's not watching, it's probably going to be missing out.
Yeah, definitely. And as much as we love the ball movement and everything from the Indiana Pacers on the Oklahoma City Thunder side, their defense is top notch. I mean,
It's
best in
fun
the
to
league.
watch. It is
Yeah,
fun to watch. Yeah.
and
Guys like Caruso and Casey Wallace, not
they just outwork you. They play hard. They dive for loose balls. They're first on the floor. That was always taught to me. First on the floor gets the
yep,
ball. Right?
yeah.
Another thing with OKC is that they're one of the youngest teams ever to make it to the finals. They're the youngest team since the 1977 Portland Trailblazers team to make it to the finals. They have an average age of like 25 and some change. But if they were to win the title, they would group themselves into quite the class of teams in NBA history. When you look at teams that have more than 65 wins and won the championship, just go down the list. You have the 67 Philly with Wilt Chamberlain and Hal Green and all those guys. 71 Bucks with Kareem and Oscar. 72 Lakers with Chamberlain and Jerry West. 86 Celtics. 92, 96, and 97 Bulls with Michael Jordan. The 2000 Kobe Shaq Lakers. The '08 Celtics with the big three of Pierce, Garnett, and Allen. The 2013 Heat, the 15 and 17 Warriors, and the Thunder this season have a chance to be in that class, and that would be quite the group to be in. And would it give them an argument for one of the greatest teams ever?
Yeah, definitely one of them. Nowhere near the best. I will always claim that the 2016-17 Warriors are the best team of all time. But well, yeah, and I still don't think they're appreciated enough. This Thunder team. Uh,
I agree.
I mean, people just love to complain, and I get it that okay, SGA's a foul baiter. But I mean, putting that aside, he still scores about 30 a game. They also have great ball movement. They have great run offense. We haven't even mentioned Chet Holmgren's name. I mean, he's a guy, unique guy,
Yeah,
great rim protector, but can also shoot the deep ball really well. So, um, Yeah, it's a fascinating team. It'll be interesting to see if they win the. Obviously, if they win the title, that's great. Can they continue it going forward? I mean, they're just gonna have to pay some of these guys pretty big money too if they're
And
going to
then
keep going.
a franchise that would want to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, we're already seeing like the Celtics. Gotta like, is the Celtics even going to be a dynasty? We said that last
Right.
year,
That's the
and
thing we
then
talked about last week was that
yeah,
like it's so hard to keep
yeah.
sustained success over multiple seasons now
That's
in this
why
new
when
era.
you that's why when you get the question of like which team's under more pressure this like in this title, the Thunder or the Pacers. I mean, they're both under a lot of pressure because there's absolutely zero guarantee they're going to be back ever. Like, well,
Exactly.
I'll say ever within the next with this core. Yeah.
Yeah. Would your pick still be the Pacers? I think you had picked them a couple weeks ago when we picked the finals.
So my original very beginning of the postseason, my original pick was Thunder,
Okay.
Celtics, Thunder and Celtics in the finals with the Celtics beating them. If you recall, I had the Pacers losing to the Bucks in 7 in the first round, but I said the winner of that series would beat Cleveland. So I was that was a cold take, but it was half cold because I said whoever won that series would upset Cleveland. But I just did not assume Boston's fall off. So I'm gonna keep it consistent. I have the Thunder in the title, but I'm gonna have them lose just like I did against Boston. This time it's gonna be in Indiana. Uh, I'm going to say 6. I think if it go, I don't think the Pacers can win a Game 7 in Oklahoma City. We saw what the Thunder did to the Nuggets, and I think the Nuggets are a really good team a few weeks ago in Game 7 at Oklahoma City. But all if the Pacers have started each series 2-0, 2 of those series have been on the road. They won at Cleveland 2 times. They won at Madison Square Garden 2 times. If they can just steal one, as I mentioned earlier, the Thunder have not shown that they're a great playoff road team, and it's not being talked about enough. All the Pacers need is to get one of these first 2, and it's going to be the Pacers have a real shot at winning a title.
Yeah, and for a team that hasn't been to the finals since the year I was born, um, I think the Pacer fans will be out in full force for those home games, and if they can get one in OKC, I would agree with you. I would shift the tide in this series. For me, it's what's going to outlast the defense for OKC or the offense for Indiana. And I kind of think back to the Durant, Westbrook, Harden team from 2012 that went to the finals and how they were so gifted offensively, but defensively they weren't quite up to par for what they needed in a series against the big three in the Miami Heat. This is a very different team that this OKC is going up against, as well as the team themselves is very different. The defense for me is going to hold out in this series, and I'm actually going to go ahead with the Thunder in this series. I think it will go 7, and that's why I think the Thunder will take this one. If you have to play a game 7 on the road in one of the best home environments in all of NBA, I put it right there with Golden State when they were at the height of their powers. This will go down for OKC with their first championship in OKC since moving from Seattle. So that's where I think this is going to go.
Final note, saying that we have not had a Game 7 in NBA Finals since 2016.
That's what I'm learning for. That's what I'm learning for
Yeah,
with this.
and that's what I want to say. I want to say that too, but I just don't think the Pacers would stand a chance in a Game 7. So I don't want it to go to 7 games.